Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be showing you around the wonderful Fort Caroline. This is an area in Jacksonville, Florida that is very historic, and this is where the French first settled and created their fort. Although they have not found the fort exactly because it was burned down to a crisp by the Spanish settlers. So here we just found a parking spot and then we walked in. To your left, you're going to see the visitor center. Well, actually to our left because we parked on the right side of the parking lot. It is free. You can go ahead and stop by and just write your name down, and the rangers will, answer any questions you have to ask. Okay, so this is the River of May, and it shows you where the French first came and saw the chief of the Timucuan Indians and greeted them. Okay, so this is, it's a very historical place where you can definitely learn quite a bit of the history that took place around this area. Okay, so first we wanted to go inside and, record some of the little bit of the museum that's in there. And it is very educational and very historic. It shows you the region here first. It shows you the habitat and some of the ecosystems that are thriving within this part of the fort because it's a marsh. There's lots of different animals there. And then as you keep going along, you'll see some of the little artifacts that they found on the site and what the Timucuan Indians did to survive around that area. So here, this owl effigy is the largest in North America. And I'm not precisely sure if they found it at this particular area, but I do know this is where it is right now. So this is basically a little tidbit into the past of how the Timucuan lived and their huts and what they would have done to survive. So they had, fishing, and they showed you one of the canoes that they built there. So then the first encounters with the Timucuan and the French, it gives you some of the history of what happened with that and how the Fort Caroline basically came to be, and the French, their relationship with the Timucuan Indians, which is pretty interesting. I was reading that they helped each other fight in battles. Here you can see French armor. The Timucuans actually asked the French for some of that armor so they could fight neighboring tribes. So that was a fun mirror into the past of what Fort Caroline was. Moving onward. Okay, so now we're walking towards the fort, and it's a nice little walk in nature. It was pretty shaded. Even though it was a hot day, I definitely did not feel the heat because it was very shaded. So here you can see an example of how the Timucuans lived, and they're teaching the French how to basically survive the way they survived out here, and on the food that's native to this area, La Florida. Okay, so then you continue down the path, and eventually you will get to the fort. And there's a lot of information that you can stop and read on the way, which is pretty educational if you do so. But clearly, if you're like me, you're not only here for the educational aspect, but to have fun. Okay, so basically this is how they built Fort Caroline, and the original one, like I said earlier, was burnt down, so they remade it, and they don't actually know where the original one was because there was no trace of it left. But here is the replica. This is what the fort would have looked like, and it's pretty interesting. It's definitely it definitely gives you a perspective of what fighting back then would have been like. And this is actually how they were able to somewhat protect themselves against the Spaniards, but a lot of the French were massacred here. To sum things up, Fort Caroline is definitely worth a visit. If you do plan on going, let me know. And as always, see you next time.